Hi, Scott Beardsley with TubularFitness.com. Today I'd like to talk about static contractions, also known as isometric contractions. This is a contraction where the muscle is contracted, but there's no movement taking place. So rather than going through a dynamic contraction where while the muscle is contracted, you're going through that range of motion. This is where you stay with the muscle contracted, but no movement taking place at all. Now there's several ways you can perform a static contraction. If you have the focus and you're familiar with what it feels like to contract your muscle, you can just contract the muscles in your arm. I'm contracting the muscle in my upper arm. You can clench your fist and tighten the muscles in your forearm. You could also go through a movement where you bring your elbow joint and closed all the way up, and even after it's gone as far as it can go ahead and try and push further in there. And you're contracting that muscle, and it's amazing how much you really can work the muscle doing this. And again, same thing, straightening the arm out, and once it's straightened out, go ahead and push as if you were going to go ahead and push it past that completely open position. And now I'm working the tricep muscle as I try to pull the arm even further open when that joint is already fully extended at the elbow. Another popular exercise program that used to be going around was called isometrics. In isometrics, many of the exercises would involve your own muscles working against each other, where you would go ahead and you would say, for example, bring your hands together and just press in with your hands. And again, no motion taking place, but you're able to put forth maximum effort and exertion. Now obviously this takes a great deal of focus because you don't have, it's not like when you have that mindset of, I just got to get this bar if you were laying on a bench. My goal is to push this all the way to the locked out position, and you've got a goal to focus on. Here your goal is to be motivating yourself to be pushing yourself as hard as you can against what is basically turning out to be an immovable object, or you're working against the resistance that's so high that you no longer can move it. So let me show you how to do this with the resistance tubes in the laboratory. By the way, the research that they've done on these static contractions shows the potential for just amazing results, and you can gain strength very quickly. And you don't have to work out very long, obviously, because this is a very intense workout. The gains take place in a relatively short period of time over the number of workouts that you need to do, and the strength seems to stick. In other words, it lasts longer before the strength starts to decrease again if you don't do any workouts for a while. But again, the kind of intensity that they look for to be able to do these kind of workouts is probably a little bit beyond what most of us lay people are capable of exerting, but still a lot of potential here for some really good results for strength. Now, when they do these, when they've done the research on these static contractions, they've found that they're most effective when you're in that static, locked up, no movement, almost or when you're at your premium leverage point of force, where you can put the most force out. Now, say for the chest press, that would be when you're almost locked out. There I'm locked out, my elbow joints are locked, and this would be just short of lockout. And they say that when you're exerting as much effort as you can at that position, you're actually firing off all of the muscle fiber that would be involved in going through the entire press if you were doing a more dynamic, movement-oriented exercise. So what I would do to do this is, obviously I was able to lock my elbows out, so I want to get just far enough away. Now I'm working with all four of the basic set of Bodylastics tubes here, so I'm not going to have to move out much further, but the point is to get to where I can't quite lock my elbows out if I wanted to. I'm pushing and pushing, and I'm in a static position here. My muscles begin to shake. It really takes a lot of focus to be able to hold this, and the goal would be to go until you've reached just total exhaustion where you really can't hold this any longer. And when you do that, you're going to find that you're even digging into your anaerobic threshold, and really working your muscles to make you even breathe harder as you're doing this exercise. So there it is. It's real simple. Now, unlike in the laboratory where they go into this position that's just your maximum point of force, when you're working with the resistance tubes, obviously you can step a little further out and work that same static contraction at the mid-range of motion, and I can step even further out and work that static contraction right at the beginning range of motion. So there you have it. There's a static contraction. You know how it works, so you could go ahead and apply this to all of the basic 4 exercises. You can go ahead and try it with fly movements, but it's going to be an exercise that lends itself to multiple joint exercises, those being the presses and the pulls. I've made a video that shows kind of a quick go-through of static presses and pulls through the basic 4 exercises if you want to take a look at that. But this is just a great way to gain strength very quickly.